Well, I came to IAIA, as you know, after being homeless for a year, living in a car with my 3-year-old daughter and my 6-year-old son, and decided that I really needed to go to college to make some sort of future for us. It was rough. It was very rough. We had the car, which was our home, so we were able to drive the 1,200 miles down to IAIA, but we really didn't have money. So I do have a clipping from when I was a student, when I had first started. So this is 1999. We had finally got a little 2-bedroom apartment for me and my 2 children and my mother and I. Here's me and my daughter and my mother. We all went to school to IAIA, and it was a struggle. And the scholarships really made it so that I could get through, both my mother and I could get through college. And even a $200 scholarship that would come in meant that it was a lifesaver. We could keep the apartment for 1 more month until we could get more money. That was many years ago and a whole lifetime ago. And I am now a professor of museum studies with a doctorate. Now I can pay it forward. I can become a donor. And how amazing is that, right? From struggling all of my life, like both my mother and I, struggling all our lives, to being able to pay it forward. So donors, I know sometimes you just feel like, well, what do I have to give? But from experience, I know even a little bit makes such a big difference. It can be life-changing. So those funds that donors gave us changed 3 generations within a short period of time, right? My mother went on to get her degree in education. My children have gone on to college, and it has totally changed what the trajectory that my whole family would have gone. A teacher, Dr. Meislow, said, well, what are your dreams? And I said, well, to get an associate's degree, to be a college graduate. And she said, well, if you had higher dreams, what would they be? And I said, oh, well, to be a PhD and come teach at IAIA. And she said, well, why don't you shoot for the highest? That way, if you get your associate, if you get your bachelor's, if you get a master's, you've reached something. And I had started off very late. I was 35 when I entered college and had to catch up. I thought if I worked really hard, I could possibly get an associate's. And quite a few years later, here I am with the highest degree possible. And that's a big step from a homeless 35-year-old waitress living in a car with 2 children.